All right, what's going on, everybody? We appreciate you guys watching. You probably saw the tweet I sent out a couple of days ago. A couple of friends of mine are just going to get on here and break down some Alabama football plays. My name is James Ogletree. You three want to go ahead and introduce yourselves?
I'm Cole Jeffries. Hi.
I'm Thomas Isaacs. And I go to Alabama, so roll Tide.
I'm Ryan Evans, and I graduated from Alabama, so roll Tide.
Yeah, we got 2 Alabama grads here and 2 current Alabama students. So I'm going to be looking back at the Tennessee game, just kind of breaking down offense, defense, what we see from Bryce Young, third downs, defensive line, some of the coverage busts we've been seeing, and really go in depth here and kind of see what's been working and what hasn't. So we're just going to have it's really just going to feel like 4 dudes talking about football, breaking it down, hopefully. So I'm going to get us started here with the first drive from Alabama. Obviously, guys, chime in if you feel like I'm off base on anything, or keep me honest, or if there's something I'm missing, let me know. So this first one, I always like to look at the way that Alabama gets the quarterback settled into the game and gets the offense rolling. So I like their game script where they kind of script out the first 10 to 20 plays with a lot of easy throws. A lot of the times, you're not asking the quarterback to do a whole lot, drop back and read a complicated defense. They'll start off with some RPOs, a little pop pass on a jet sweep. We'll see here in a couple of plays. So that's where I wanted to start tonight. So this is Alabama's first offensive drive. They just motioned Jamison Williams up here, and Bryce is going to run a simple little RPO like we've seen from Alabama so many times. It's just going to be a little RPO read. Jamison's going to run a little slant here to a bunch of open space, and Bryce is going to make that read. So I'll go ahead and play it here. So Bryce, I believe, is reading this guy right here. If this guy drops back to cover Jamison and take this away, Bryce is just going to hand it off to B-Rob. And since this guy kind of stays there and is ready to play the run, there's going to be a ton of open space there, and Bryce is going to decide to throw that to Jamison. So pretty on-target ball, just a drop by Jamison there. I mean, it's a good read. Obviously, when you have that much space, I think that's the right call by him. What I would like to see from Bryce here, aside from, we'll see, there's another angle up here they'll show. It's a little bit behind him. Jamison kind of has to reach back there just a little bit. But I would like to see the ball come out a little quicker by Bryce. I think he's a little hesitant for whatever reason, maybe just first play of the game. Not quite settled in yet, but if you watch him when he reaches the top of his drop, he hesitates. His back foot hits right there. He hesitates for just a split second and then doesn't quite pull the trigger. So I think that throws the timing off a little bit. Obviously, Jamison should still catch this ball, but I think that makes it a little tougher on Jamison. So that little hesitation right there, we'll get to the replay here again. He hits the back foot, shuffles his feet, hesitates a little bit, ball's a little behind him. And even if Jamison were to catch that ball, that's probably limiting the yards after the catch that he's going to be able to get, because it's just a tick late. So yeah, again, I like the decision here. I think he totally makes the right call, just a little hesitant right there. Maybe I'd like to see him a little more decisive and maybe give Jamison an easier ball to catch there and hopefully optimize the yards after the catch.
Yeah, and I think that's something we saw so much from Tua and Mac as well, where they were so good on those little short slant routes, putting it where he's hitting them in stride and just letting his receivers go to work. And that's one where, I mean, obviously it should have been a first down, should have been a 12-yard game, but if he puts that on Jamison Williams' hands, there's a good chance he outruns that corner and gets a really nice game.
Yeah, totally. And you're right about Tua and Mac. I mean, there was a span in 2018 and 2019 where it felt like half the games they were playing, they were hitting one of these early in the game, and it was either going for a 80-yard touchdown or something. They killed South Carolina on that, I think, a couple years ago. And it seems like every home game I was at, we were betting how many plays is it going to take Alabama to score on the RPO slant this time. So definitely a staple of their playbook. Then we'll go forward here to the next one. This one, if we remember the infamous, or I guess famous, if you're an Alabama fan, the Devontae Smith touchdown against Derek Stingley against LSU in 2019, where Alabama kind of hits the clap, looks to the sideline, and then Smitty just runs right past him. That's kind of what they do here, but I've never seen him do it on a jet sweep like this before. So if we watch Bryce, he claps, then looks to the sideline, These guys are looking to the Alabama sideline. The Tennessee guys stand up. They're looking over their sideline. Do we have any adjustments? And then boom, Bryce claps again and pops it to Williams there. Honestly, you're probably hoping for a little more open space over there than that. But again, that's just a way that they kind of get Bryce settled in, get the offense kind of moving the chains, little simple play. Doesn't have to make a read. Just, clap, see if you can catch them off guard, and a little jet sweep there.
It's also very clear that's part of the script because, like, Brian Robinson never looks to the sideline. I think Latu is the tight end on the field. He never looks to the sideline. It's just an all fake out by the receivers and Bryce, and then it's snap the ball and let's go.
Yeah, totally. And also looking at the O-line, they're going the opposite direction of the play. So not only you combine the O-line all acting like it's going to be a run to the left, and then it's a pitch to the right. Not only is the defense kind of duped by that misdirection and things going in different directions, but they're also late. So they're going the wrong way. I mean, the linebackers there are going to their right, away from where the ball is actually going. So they're going the wrong way and they're late, which is not the situation you want to be in as a defense. But really, that guy is at 11 or 13 right there for Tennessee, makes a nice play, kind of limits where Jameson can go with it, and brings up, I think it's going to be a 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 7 here. And we'll get into some third downs a little bit later with Cole. Cole's going to walk us through a couple more third downs. But what I wanted to show about this opening drive is they have the script and they have the easy throws like we've seen, but then they'll deviate from that script whenever they need to in like an obvious third down, 3rd and long situation like this. And they'll, you probably have to put in a more drop back passing type situation. You can't throw a jet sweep or, maybe an RPO, but a jet sweep and simple little stuff like that is not going to work on 3rd and 7. So what I really like here, I kind of criticize Bryce a little bit for the timing on the first down, but here I think the timing is excellent. He makes the read, hits his back foot, and makes a really, really nicely placed ball to Latu there. I mean, he lets Latu, who's a big body, kind of box the guy out, places it where the defender can't get to. I mean, he hits the back foot, boom, and throws it. I like that decisiveness. It's an accurate ball. And I just think he knows where he's going to go with the football. He gets the snap, makes the read. Okay, I'm going to Latu, boom, and the ball's out. Really like that. Protection's good too.
It's also a hard throw because if you don't throw that on a rope, it's going to get picked off by 13 and taken for 6 points. Like, you have to put something behind it, and they threw an absolute rope there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. And I think you said it there, James. The big part of that play for me is Latu boxing out that defender. I mean, he knows he's got to stay past that first down marker, but he also can't let the defender undercut him and get that ball. So it's a good job by Latu making sure that he keeps the defender on his hip and makes that catch past the sticks.
Yeah, Bryce and Latu definitely on the same page here. Latu knows which direction he's going as he comes out of that break. Bryce knows where he's going. They're on the same page and know where Latu's going to be and know where the ball is going to be, because you're right. Both you guys are right. If that timing is off, or if, Latu breaks to the right a little bit and Bryce breaks to the left a little bit, that's easily going to get broken up or even picked off. So I like the detail there on that one.
Also, it didn't play a factor here as much, but we motioned Bolden out a ton on Saturday. And I love how much it spreads the defensive backs out. Like, even here, he forces a defensive back to come down with him to where you're looking at, Jameson Williams possibly gets open there too. We weren't throwing the ball to him, but he does run, and then we force the defensive back down to the bottom of the screen with Bolden, and it really spreads the whole defense out.
Yeah, I don't know if there's like a name for this motion that they're doing with Slade here, where he kind of goes around Bryce and the running back, but they did that a ton against Tennessee. I saw.
We don't do it with anybody else either. It's always just Slade.
Yeah, I know it. But yeah, it's effective, and they definitely went to it time and time again against Tennessee. So now we move the chains there on 3rd and 7. We're back in a comfortable situation, and they're going to go back to the script here. Just a simple little pitch to B-Rob. I like the blocking. It's blocked well. Kendall Randolph here kind of seals that guy inside. Latu comes across, does a nice job. If you're a running back, when he gets the ball, look at that gap that he has. That's nice. That is really nice. The perimeter blocking out here, you would like to see Jameson be able to sustain that a little longer.
I don't think Jameson prides himself on his downfield blocking.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. That's something he's got to work on a little bit, I think. Because if he hits that guy, if he can seal him inside there, Brian's got a ton of room.
Yeah. If he gets that block, I think Brian's just one-on-one with like a safety. And then I know there's a corner on Mechie, but yeah, that's a 10-yard gain if that block is made.
Yeah, totally.
It's like, it's just,
he's such a downhill runner that as soon as he sees that gap, it's full speed ahead. There's no hesitation for him because he's not afraid to be physical and hit someone. And he was looking to hit somebody there when he gets downhill like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So a little pitch there by Bryce. Again, you go back to the script, just give him a simple little pitch. Nothing too complicated. Just keep the chains moving. I think this is going to end up being what, a 2nd down and 6 or so, 2nd and 4. So you get 6 on 1st down. You always like the situation that you're in. And here, I think this is going to be a run. Yeah, hand off to B-Rob. Kind of put it in his hands. The blocking here, you have Javion Cohen and Billingsley coming across the formation. And so Javion's going to do, I think, a really nice job kind of, going after that guy. This guy's going to get upfield, and Javion kind of uses that momentum against him and kind of opens up that gap there for Billingsley to lead B-Rob through. And Billingsley, I think, he kind of whiffs on that block. But to me, the bigger problem here is this guy 94, because you have Chris Owens and Ekiyor kind of double teaming him. Then Ekiyor tries to work to the 2nd level, and then 94 just kind of breaks through there and forces B-Rob to cut back. So the more visible part of the play that could be a little better is Billingsley not really catching a lot of that linebacker as he comes across right there, kind of whiffs there. But I think 94 kind of splitting that double team by Owens and Ekiyor is another important part of that play, because that's what kind of throws off B-Rob, and B-Rob ideally would just follow Billingsley right through that hole, but 94 splitting that double team kind of prevents him from doing that. So the run blocking in this game, B-Rob had to do more on his own than you would like. The run blocking, I think, left a little bit to be desired in this.
Now Tennessee is a good defensive line. So they lead the country in tackles for loss. I didn't know that until after Saturday. So it's not that Alabama's just doing bad. Tennessee's also really good at what they do, but the offensive line has been hit or miss this season. I think in the A&M game, 12 out of B-Rob's 24 carries, half of his carries went for 3 yards or less. So it's just he'll pop one off for 15 to the next play, he's getting hit in the backfield. It's just we don't know which one you're going to get each play.
Right. Yeah. And the inexperience on the inside of Alabama's offensive line, I think, is something that has been an issue. Maybe issue is overstating it, but I think it comes up from time to time. Dalcourt has started 8 games now at the college level. Javion Cohen is a true sophomore, started 8 games at the college level. And Chris Owens, even though he's been around a long time, I think he's either a true senior or a 5th-year senior. He hasn't played a whole lot of, meaningful snaps in his career. So I think that is showing itself at times as well. Now we get to a 3rd and 4, and I think this is more like a 3rd and 6 or 7 like we had earlier. I think that's a clearer situation where you're going to deviate from the script. Here, this may be in the script. This may be something that they had to deviate from it in a 3rd down passing situation. But again, I think Bryce does a really nice job, hits his back foot right there, sees Billingsley come open. And again, the same thing that like we saw with Latu on the previous 3rd down. Look at the placement of that. That's exactly where it needs to be, away from the defender, away from both defenders, over this guy, away from this guy. Just really like the placement of that. Protection, again, is pretty good. Really good. That's a really
I think it's really
pocket.
good. That's really good pass protection. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's a good
How
pass.
many does Tennessee bring on that? So they bring 3.
Yeah.
That's part of it. But,
you can only block who rushes. So.
Yeah.
And also the route is messed up. If you watch the route again, Billingsley runs right into Jamison Williams, as the route starts. So he runs right into them right about there. Yeah, he runs right into them.
Yeah, I was kind of trying to figure out what that pass concept is supposed to be. It's tough to tell because of that, but regardless, Billingsley's going out to the flat and finds a way to get open, even though the timing's screwed up a little bit, and Bryce just puts it on the money. I just think that's a great throw by Bryce.
Really great throw.
Yeah. So now Billingsley gets hurt a little bit there, so we'll fast forward to the next 1st down. Jeff Allen doing the Lord's work there. So we move the chains. Now we got Roydell in on a 1st down, so we can go back to the script here. With 2 in motion. Bryce throws just a little swing route to Roydell. This one I have a little bit of a problem with because, I mean, Cameron Latou has been impressive this year to me, better than I expected. But if you're asking him to, lock on to this DB in that much open space while Latou is moving, that's a tough ask to me, and I mean, that's what you're asking him to do. The success of the play hinges on that, and he completely misses it. And Roy Dell, while he's been a really solid player so far, I don't think is the kind of make you miss guy. Like right here, I'm not feeling great about his chances to make a guy miss, right? So this one I'm not too thrilled with the call here and what they're asking the guys to do. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Am I being too pessimistic about that?
No, absolutely. I'd have to agree with you there. And not just because it's so tough to block a guy in space as he's moving, but like Latou can't tell where Roydell Williams is there. He doesn't know how close he is inside. It looks like Latou's kind of blocking to where he thinks he's going to cut it. Roydell's going to cut it inside, but he stays a little too far outside and he just gets beat on the outside.
Yeah.
I think inside is the move, though. I mean, I think if Latou gets that block, you have a huge gain there. So I think maybe I'm Roydell more than it is, because if you cut it in, the defensive back whips anyways. He's too far by you.
So you think like once Roydell gets it here, you see where the DB is, and Roydell cuts it more inside?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because then he has to outrun number 97, the defensive end, instead of the defensive back. And I'll take his chances outrunning a defensive end back to the middle of the field.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, I agree with that based on reading Latou. But then if we look at Slade and Mechie here, really they kind of lose their blocks too.
They don't block anyone either. Yeah.
Yeah, all three of them kind of can't really.
Best case scenario, you end up with
so.
no gain there instead of a loss of 3. If he cuts it in, it's second 10 instead of second 13.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, obviously, like we all saw how good the previous round of wide receivers was at blocking on the perimeter. That was something we saw all the time. Judy and Smitty and Ruggs were really solid at that. Waddle too, not to leave him out, but that's I think an underrated thing that you lose. Obviously, there's a playmaking ability with those guys, but the blocking on the perimeter, they were so good at it and prided themselves on it. Now we get to a 2nd and 12 situation. Again, I don't know. I mean, 2nd and 12, you guys think we're in a neutral situation with respect to the script, or is this a place where we have to put in, where we have to go away from the script and put in like a passing situation, like really treat it like a 3rd and long?
I believe that was scripted.
You think that was scripted?
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of those Slade motion plays. I think that was scripted.
Yeah. Again, I mean, they may have done it 10, 12 times with Slade on the same exact motion there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think most Slade motion was in the script early in the game, and then we just saw how it worked and used it later in the game as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think Bryce does a nice job here, making the reads, getting off the first read and finding Slade. Doesn't look like there's really anybody open.
That's a really good block by Roydell. You watch the blue play. Roydell gets a really good block.
Yeah,
really
that was one of the biggest things that stuck out to me. Great blitz pickup there by Roydell. I think Bryce may try to take that more downfield, but he feels a little bit of pressure coming there from the right, has to kind of hop back a little bit, and then he's just like, all right, let me get to Slade, which I don't have a problem with, because he may not feel like he has the room to step up and try to hit one downfield. So I think just take what you can get, just pitch it out to Slade and see if you can get 4, 5, 6 yards out of it, which he ends up doing. So I don't have any problem with this read or this decision by Bryce.
Yeah. I think the Alabama fan base likes to crap on Slade Bolden a little bit, but I think he does a really good job here. Yeah. When he catches this ball, I'd be surprised if he gets back to even the line of scrimmage, because that cornerback's coming right at him. Yeah. He does a good job to even get. I think he ends up getting 6 yards. Mm-hmm. Honestly, probably should have gotten 4 yards. I think he stepped out a little before where the referee called him down, but it's a good job by Slade.
He gets a lot of hate for one drop in the swamp, is pretty much what it is.
Absolutely.
He dropped that ball wide open in the end zone in the swamp, and nobody's forgiving him since. But I think he's been a pretty good player since then.
Yeah, I agree.
And I even think Alabama scored on that drive too, that even dropped the pass. So I don't know what they're crying about.
Yeah.
I think he caught a touchdown pass later in the game, didn't he?
I don't think he did, no.
Or maybe he had an important catch or something. I know he caught one later in the game.
It was something.
Yeah.
All right. So then we're going to get into another third down here. I think, like Cole said, it should have been a 3rd and 8, ended up being a 3rd and 6. You got a little generous spot there. And now, Cole, I think you're going to take us through a couple of these, couple of the remaining third downs, right, throughout the game that you really liked.
Yep, absolutely. And something we saw coming after this game, Alabama's actually first in the country in third down conversion rate at 58.3%. They were 15 of 20 in this game and 12 of 16 against Mississippi State. So the last 2 weeks in particular have been fantastic. 75%. If you want to, could you go back about 5 seconds? And I'd love to talk about the formation here.
Yeah.
So this is something that Bryce really needs to do. He does a great job reading this pre-snap. You see man because you see this inside corner. The fact that he's so far kind of towards the sidelines, matched up right against that second slot guy, likely is an indicator of man. And then the big indicator is this safety sneaking down, the one at the bottom of the screen. So Bryce is going to know pre-snap. It looks like the safety is going to guard Jamison Williams there in the slot. And I think we all like that matchup for Jamison. He also sees the linebackers threaten to blitz, which also makes sense for man. It's easier to blitz out of a man than a zone. So Bryce knows he's got to get this ball out quick. We can go ahead and play it now. He knows Jamison Williams is going to release to the inside here. And he just makes a really nice throw. You'll see him beat this safety to the inside. He makes a nice throw.
Yeah, really nice ball right there. I mean, right on the money again. The timing of it is perfect. They're perfectly in sync. Like you said, Jamison is able to get away from that safety like we would expect. And yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you want. 3rd and 6, really nice right there. Let's take a look at this protection. How many guys do they bring? They show blitz. They end up bringing 5, and then the 6th guy loops around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's essentially it's essentially
B-Rob
sits
on the
on
guy looping
sets.
around there. That's really solid. I mean, for a running back to be able to slow him down that much, that's impressive to me.
Yep, he does a good job there.
Yeah,
I think our pass protection for our running backs has been good all year.
Yeah.
Even Roydale, who's a young guy, and a lot of time younger guys struggle with pass protection, stuff like that, because they were never asked to do that in high school because they were so talented and they got the ball in their hands more time than they had to protect their quarterback.
Absolutely.
But I mean, Roydale's young and he's good at it. And then Brian Robinson's been on campus for 6 years and he's good at it as well. And even Jace McClellan, before he got hurt, he was good at it. So I think it's something we do really well. And it's important for Bryce to get time as a young quarterback. I think it's big for us.
Yeah, I agree. All right, moving on to the next third down here. Got to get the page to load, working with a ton of different tabs. Do you have the timestamp on that one, Cole? The thing reset.
I can look it up. 1:29:15.
29:15. All right. All right, we got another third down here, 3rd and 12 here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah. So this is a big one. This is another nice read by Bryce pre-snap. He sees those linebackers sneaking down, and he just puts this ball, even though they drop back at snap, they're not going to catch up with Mechie. So he puts it behind the line of linebackers in front of the safeties, and that's just a beautiful throw. He puts it in between. I counted 5 defenders on the screen. That's just right in the middle there. And a nice catch by Mechie as well. He knows he's going to get hit, but he still brings it down. And that's something that Bryce – that's a big thing Bryce needs to do is reading pre-snap, because I think – he's got a fantastic arm. Obviously, he runs it really well. But one place I think he's struggled so far this year is reading the defense during the play. So if he, as many of those pre-snap reads as he can make, where he one read and go, and he knows that guy's going to be open, that's a big thing for Bryce. And I think if he can continue to do that, he's going to be super successful.
Yeah, I think we have a view here from Bryce's perspective coming up. Yeah, right here. Yeah, this will be really nice. Like you said, Cole, seeing these 2 linebackers up on the line of scrimmage, if you're Bryce, I think you love to see that because you know you're going to have Mechie going here, and it's going to be much easier to just throw it right over those linebackers' heads. It's going to give you a ton more space. So as we roll it here, that's what Greg McElroy is saying on the broadcast too. You have these linebackers who are up so close, they're going to have such a hard time dropping back. This guy's doing the best he can, but there's just no way as he's backpedaling into that zone that he's going to be able to stay with Mechie, you know, and that's, I mean, that angle really shows how well placed of a ball that is from Bryce. I mean, that is beautiful right there. Really, really.
I'm not sure who's Tennessee defensive coordinator is, but he's asking a ton out of his linebackers there.
Absolutely.
To get back into coverage on John Mechie, who's in every mock draft, a 1st round pick, and you're asking your linebackers to get from the line of scrimmage back and guard him. That's a tough ask for them. And Bryce does a great job of seeing that. It's a great play, but it's a huge ask for Tennessee's defense.
Yeah, and Alabama exploited that. I think Mechie played 45% of his snaps in the slot this week, so I think Alabama definitely looked into that.
Yeah, and I mean, with the look that they're giving pre-snap, again, we talked about the linebackers, but the safeties too. I mean, you're playing basically, I don't know if it's like a true cover two, but middle of the field is open, and you have the linebackers up here, and you have a guy basically running up the seam, and they just kind of turn it inside a little bit. So, I mean, that's exactly what you would want to be throwing in that situation with the coverage that you got. So, really nice right there. Now we'll go to the next one.
Yep.
So down here in the red zone.
This next one's going to be this Bryce Young rushing touchdown. That's something Bryce did incredibly in this game, was run the ball. I think the student section's definitely been clamoring for him to run the ball more the whole season, basically. He's finally started doing it, and I don't know if that's a coaching thing or a Bryce thing, but he did a great job in this game. I think the final stats were only, 10 rushes for 42 yards. He did have the 2 touchdowns, though, and I think a lot of the small yardage there is due to a couple sacks. But he does a great job here and really on a bunch of third downs. It's one reason we've been so successful on third down the last couple of weeks. But he does a great job. There's almost immediate pressure up the middle. Gets away from that guy, makes this linebacker miss in the middle, and gets to the end zone. He does fumble right before the goal line, but he gets on it, and it's a touchdown. That's a great play by Bryce there.
Yeah.
And we saw
I think
this.
it also shows – go ahead, Cole. My bad.
Sorry. We saw this 2 or 3 times, I think, on third down, where he 3rd and 5, 6, something like that, where he gets 7, 8 yards, and it was just a good job by Bryce.
I think he's a pretty good runner. I mean, that juke move's a pretty good one.
Absolutely.
And I mean, that makes me think that it was like more of a coaching thing to not have him running the ball, because he may not he doesn't slide like he knows how to slide or anything like that, but he runs naturally. Like, he looks like a natural runner. He looks really good running the football. So, I mean, that's going to be huge for offense if we continue to do that down the stretch.
Absolutely.
Yeah, on third, yeah. I think I looked on the third downs, like of the 20 third downs we had, 18 of them were put in Bryce's hands. Like, it was either like it was a called pass play, and like 5 or 6 of them ended up being run plays from Bryce, but they have a lot of trust in Bryce. But yeah, I think the rushing has been definitely a coaching thing, because like in the first few games, like he was very hesitant, and now he's just, whenever everything collapses, he's willing to go.
Which I think is a very good thing. I think a lot of times early in the season, he would get in trouble. He'd roll out to the right or even to the left sometimes, and he'd be still trying to look downfield, and he wouldn't find anything, and then it ended up being a throwaway when he could have, if he just gone immediately, could have gotten 6, 7, 8 yards normally. So
yeah, I think against Florida, like on one of our last drives, if he rolled out near the goal line, if he would have ran it, he could have walked in, but he said he threw it to Latu and ended up being a catch out of bounds, and we had to end up kicking the field goal. So.
Yep.
I just like watching Bryce run, man. I mean, there are not too many guys who have his combination of arm talent and, I mean, straight line speed, but also quickness. I mean, being able to literally make guys miss in the open field as a quarterback with his arm talent as well. That's a lethal combo. I'm glad we're getting to see him do that more, because it's really impressive.
Yeah, that's such a good play makes on that linebacker there. I mean, that's a guy whose entire job is to tackle running backs in the open field, and he just makes him look silly. He doesn't even get a hand. That's a great job.
Bryce impresses me more and more every single week.
Mhm.
And I mean, as a young guy, he's supposed to get better every week, but he's improving so much, even on the ground, and with his passing's even getting better. And he was considered a great passer coming out of high school, and he gets better and better every single week. And I think he's going to be even better down the stretch, hopefully.
Yeah, I agree. So to this point, we've really praised Bryce Young and the play calling a lot, putting the guys in good positions. You know, we saw, like, especially with the last play where we saw Mechie just had the perfect route to run into that coverage. But now Thomas is going to show us a couple of drives at the beginning of the second half that we all kind of agree are not exactly putting the players in the best position here. So I'll pull this one up.
Yeah, these drives, we were not too happy in the student section. We were not too happy. So can we go to the third down? Well, see, I mean, you can look at the first down too. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so like pressure already gets there, and he has a safety net in Brian Robinson, and he just simply falls. Like, both of the drives are like determined by the first play, I believe. So like this drive, it was Brian Robinson gaining -2 yards on the play. And then like a 2nd and 12 is like a neutral play, like you say. You can either run it or you can pass it. And we get a good run from Brian. And then the third down is what I really want to look at, because I think that's the play that kind of like, I don't know. Usually Alabama will have a safety net in a way. Like if everything kind of collapses, there's a guy you can just pitch the ball to real fast. And on this play, I think it's supposed to be Brian Robinson, but he's going to block for a little bit, but then he wants to run the route. But like the safety net, he doesn't appear to be running a route until right then. That's when the route's running, and Bryce is already circling around, trying to like panic, not necessarily panic, but trying to make a play out of it, but it's not there. And he ends up throwing the ball away. So I don't know, like Jameson, you see Jameson across the middle, and I think Bryce sees him, but like he knows if he throws it, he's getting tackled immediately. So Bryce is just going to try to make a play, and the play's just not there to make. So if y'all have anything to say that I'm not saying, y'all can say.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on. Even before I knew that you were going to talk about not having a safety net on this play, that was the main thing I noticed. It seems like it's Jameson or bust. Like he's looking to hit Jameson here, and if that's not open, what else is he supposed to do? I mean, it does look like that's supposed to be B-Rob, but B-Rob's kind of trapped there in pass protection. He sees the linebacker coming up the middle. I mean,
I don't even like that route.
Ekiyor's kind of there, but B-Rob right there is thinking, oh crap, my quarterback's about to get killed. I got to stay in and block. So I think that's part of it, but still, I mean, it seems like that's something you got to think ahead about. Like, what if you don't have Jameson, and then what if they blitz and B-Rob's trapped in pass protection? I mean, all the guys are over here downfield to the left. Bryce is running for his life over to the right. There's nowhere for him to go. So
I don't like the route from Jameson there either. He's 3 yards short of the first down line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that a couple times. Yeah, I've seen that a couple times. Yeah, even in the Mississippi State game, I remember like it was a 3rd and 12 that we had, and the route that was the only one open was like a 5-yard out from Slade, and that's where we went for the ball. So I don't know, some questionable third down play calling. But now, like we're really good on third down. It's just there's some that it's just like it's not appropriate for the yards. Right. Like Jameson's play right there is like a 3rd and 3, not a 3rd and 6.
Yeah, I'm with y'all. I mean, I think maybe that route is successful against man, where he can beat him to the outside and maybe get to 6 yards. But I don't know how you expect him to get 6 yards out of that play against a zone. And we definitely see a zone look there. I mean, I think the corner is going to be able to get him short if the linebacker doesn't get him first. I mean, I don't know why we thought that was going to work, honestly.
I'm wondering if Jameson maybe is just supposed to be quicker, kind of really, really cutting across there quicker, because when Bryce, like, he hits the back of his drop right there, and Jameson, like, I don't know, it just feels like Jameson's supposed to be farther along. He's still, and part of it is that it's zone, but I mean, the guy, the defender is in a great position there, and part of that is just how Tennessee's playing it. But if you watch Jameson too, he's not really in a hurry to get there. He kind of, he doesn't immediately book it across the formation. He kind of, does that little move there and then goes. So I wonder if that had something to do with it too, and prevented him from being able to kind of get the angle on that defender, and that kind of threw some of it off as well. But yeah, quarterback running a long way to his right. Sorry, I went the wrong way there. Running to his right and then nowhere to go, running all the way to his left is not what you want to see.
I mean, also, I don't really like the formation. Like, we're on the far right and everyone kind of lines up on the left. And then the route you want to throw to is, I get why Jameson's going to the left, because we want more open field for him. But in a zone look, it kind of like, you can't really do much. So,
yeah, agreed. All right. And unfortunately, it doesn't get a whole lot better on this next drive, right, Thomas? We have some stuff to critique here too.
Yeah, the first play just dooms it from the start. So you can see Mechie will come across, and it's just a little fake pop pass, but then we're going to go back to him. And just the blocking wasn't well. Like, if that first block is made, maybe there's a chance. Because like 2 linemen run away, and there's just that one block, and that messes everything up. So,
but it's like we learned nothing from the first try.
Yeah, I know.
It's like ball behind line of scrimmage on first down, and then we run it on second down, and the same situation happens on third down where we have nothing to look at. I don't really understand it. It's the same drive from the play calling standpoint.
Yeah. I mean, again, like you said earlier, Ryan, you're asking a lot of your linemen here, because this is such a slow developing play your DBs are all watching what's happening. They can all see that Bryce is turning back to the left. They can see that Mechie's 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage, so they know what's happening. And they're obviously much quicker than 350-pound Evan Neal, as good of a player as Evan Neal is. You're just giving those DBs a ton of time to get the upper hand on the blocks. I mean, all those guys aren't fooled.
I think they're
breaking on it immediately.
Yeah, I think they're trying to ask Evan Neal to go out and block the corner. And I think if like he wants to, but then that guy from the inside comes in, he gives him a little nudge, but that's not enough. And that guy's in the backfield. So yeah.
He's a top 10 pick. And I'll take most SEC corners to get right by him on the outside like that. Just asking way too much of Evan Neal.
Yeah. I don't know why you run that to the short side of the field as well. You're kind of setting Mechie up to fail there. There's no
great point.
Yeah, he has like no wiggle room in a way.
Exactly.
I mean, he literally has to make a man miss
to lose 3.
5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Yeah.
It's just not a good start to like both drives, throw behind the line of scrimmage, and it gains you -2, and this one was -3. So
I mean, there was just
that play call is worse than the last drive.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
B-Rob was just a dump off on the last drive. This was a play call. Well, that was a design to go to Mechie 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. Overall, just too many first down plays that didn't work and put you in this situation. I mean, this is already like the third 2nd and 12 or 2nd and 13 that we've seen. So it's just not putting you in a good position. Luckily, they're the best third down team in the country, so they can get out of it. But just, I mean, that's not going to work against defenses with better coaching, better players who can prevent you from converting so many third and 12s, 3rd and 8s, whatever you're in. All right, Thomas, 2nd and 13. What do we got here?
I think this is a good play. Jamison does get open, and it's a hard throw from Bryce. He's on the opposite side of the field trying to get it to the very far sideline. If it's on the money, it's a catch and it's a first down. So, I mean, now if you look in the middle of the field, I just now noticed that. Look in the middle of the field, you see Mechie does break, and there's no one behind him.
Yeah.
So, but I think Bryce, I want to look at the pressure again.
Yeah.
So they bring 4, and it's pretty well maintained. But Bryce is going to Jamison all the way. He's not even looking at Mechie. Bryce is going to Jamison all the way. So, which I feel like on a lot of these plays, like Bryce has an idea of where he's going before it begins. So, and he sees him open and he tries to get it to him, but it's just a mess. But he does have Mechie over the middle, and if that throws to Mechie on the money, Mechie's like, bye, he's gone.
Yeah, I think the pressure from the right side, Chris Owens kind of, gives up a little bit of pressure there. I think that affects Bryce. His arm may get nudged there a little bit. I can't tell, but the throw is off. I mean, as accurate as Bryce is, this is, that's not a normal Bryce Young throw. So I have to think the pressure there that Owens allowed kind of affected.
Is the throw off or is the timing off?
I feel
it could be either.
Jamison Williams?
Maybe. I think it's a bit of both.
You see him start to come back, and he just looks like he's late to the ball. I don't know whose fault it is, but it looks like he's just late to the ball there.
Yeah, I mean, Bryce could have been pressured to throw it early, like James said, because that pressure right there. So that may be also a factor into it as well.
Exactly, and he knows he's not going to throw an interception there, and he gives Jamison at least a chance because there's no way you throw a pick because Jamison's the first person to the ball.
Yeah, I just think it's kind of a low percentage play on 2nd and 13. I like the play calls a lot better on 2nd and long that we saw earlier, like the little check down to Slade, and Slade makes the guy miss and picks up like 6 yards.
Yeah,
that puts you in a much better spot than the guy, your quarterback, throwing from the opposite hash. You got to get the timing right on a comeback. It's a longer throw, so you're inviting more pressure. I just don't like this call in this situation. It's fine somewhere else, but 2nd and 13, I wouldn't go for an all or nothing throw like this. Just do something a little simpler and make your life easier on 3rd down. Because now, I mean, the timing's off. You invite pressure, and it's 3rd and 13. So
on the last drive, they ran the ball and gained 6. So they could have done that again, but they also could have done it with a pop pass, like get so closer to like 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7 instead of having to do 3rd and 13 like they do right here.
You never want to see this sign. You hope this sign stays on the ground the whole time. This is not what you want your people holding up on the sideline.
Yeah, you don't want that at all.
I guess that
you
was
want that guy to have a boring
night, but still. All right. So 3rd and 13. The playbook is pretty small in this situation. What do they got here?
Yeah. So Mechie does line up in the slot. That's something they did a lot. And the linebackers are walked up again. And you see, and then Mechie's going to run right across kind of in the middle. And then when we see the replay, we'll see it better. But there's nobody on the left side for Bryce to throw it to. So Bryce is just going to run right out of bounds. But I feel like Cole mentioned it like when we went over the film, but he does have, I think he has Mechie over the middle, but I don't think he's even looking at Mechie at all. I think he's looking at Jamison on the right. Cause if you see where he's looking, I think if he sees Mechie, he's going to throw that football. Cause like, that's not a tight window. I mean, I wouldn't call it a tight window. I think if you zip that, that's a catch.
Right.
Yeah,
Especially with Bryce
right
Young's
there.
arm. I mean, I think he could definitely make that throw. And
Yeah.
it's tough to tell from this replay, but like he's maybe a yard short of the sticks. Like there's a great chance he converts that. And like to the left, there's not a single receiver over there. It's a little easier to tell from this angle, but there's just about no chance you're going to break that, especially to the short side of the field with no receiver in that area.
Looking at like the relation between Mechie's route and Jamison's route, I think it's like a high-low type read for Bryce, where he's got Mechie and Jamison in a similar sight line here. Mechie is sitting down in the zone and kind of cheating to the right over here. I think he's trying to drag this safety so to open things up for Jamison. So I think what they're hoping for is that this safety, instead of playing Jamison, which is what he does, they're hoping this guy sees Mechie near the sticks and triggers on that and says, I'm going to go hit Mechie at the sticks and stop him short of the third down. Or stop.
Yeah, I think it's similar to the last play. I think Bryce knows from the beginning who he wants to go with the ball with.
Yeah,
I think it's similar to the last play.
I think Bryce wants Jamison here, and then
he wants Jamison.
Yeah, and then as the safety plays Jamison, I think he would throw this to Mechie. I think the pressure is what spooks him a little bit. Now we can debate whether it should have. I mean, you kind of have the pressure coming there from Owens and B-Rob in the pickup. I think Bryce I think he has room to step up and make that throw, or just, make a little subtle move in the pocket and make that throw. But to me, I think he's reading that high-low. He sees the safety go play on Jamison, and I think he knows he has Mechie here. He just doesn't feel comfortable because of where the pressure's coming from, in my opinion. Because, I mean, I think we all agree Mechie's open right there. I mean, Greg McElroy said it on the broadcast too. If this is a clean pocket, I think Bryce hits that easily. And then like someone said, Mechie's like 2 yards short of the sticks, and he can just kind of dive and try to get the first down, So I like the call though, because I mean, you're giving the quarterback options here, because like Jamison, if the safety triggers on Mechie, Jamison's going to get open here, and that's going to be a first down. The safety goes to Jamison, and as long as this is a clean pocket, I think you have a good chance of getting the first down throwing to Mechie as well, because he's right near the sticks there. It's just the pressure that screws everything up to me. But one of the few third downs that didn't work for him.
Yep.
And I think if we look over to that side, the other receiver, Thomas, is your boy Traeshon, isn't it? We fast forward here.
I believe it was Traeshon.
This right here, that is the foot of Traeshon Holden. I think we can double check that if we back it up. Yeah, so this is Traeshon.
Yeah, that is Traeshon.
High-low concept with Jamison going here. You got Mechie sitting down in the zone here, and Traeshon just kind of comes out here to the flat to clear things out. I don't think he's really part of the play, but that's Traeshon out there. Yeah. So I know, Thomas, you had read something, or you had noticed how much more he was playing, and so we're going to get into a couple plays where Traeshon was involved, and I think you mentioned he's playing a lot more, and they're trying to move some guys around a little bit so that he can play a little more, right?
Yeah. So in the last 2 games, the total snap count while the play's going, Slade Bolden has played 77 plays. Traeshon has played 46. And in this game, he played 28. And JoJo Earl, who was playing a lot in the beginning of the year, he's only played 16 snaps the last 2 games and only 3 snaps in the Tennessee game. So in this play right here, I think like how it starts off with, like if you fast forward a little bit, you'll see the replay, like from Bryce's point of view. I think it goes from Bryce's point of view. It's a really good replay. But I think Bryce wants to go to Mechie, or he wants to go to someone that's not named Traeshon Holden, because if you pause it right about there, Traeshon has wide. So that's Jamison. Right. Yeah, he's wanting to go to Jamison, but if you look on the right, you don't see Traeshon Holden, but that defender, like on the far right, Traeshon is already behind him. And if you look at the top safety's looking kind of towards Jamison. Traeshon has a touchdown.
He drifts in the middle of the field, the safety.
Yes, yeah,
Straight towards the middle of the field.
Yeah, Traeshon has, so pause it right there. Traeshon is by himself wide open. And and if he doesn't slip and fall, I think he gets around the safety and scores a touchdown. But he was wide open. Like no one went with him at all.
Yeah, it's tough to see because of all the red in the background, but Traeshon's right there. If
Yeah,
Bryce is able to
open.
get the ball to him quicker, there's
gone.
nobody there.
Yeah, if he got it to him quicker, it's a touchdown. And Bryce still got it to him. It's just Traeshon kind of slipped and fell. But like
Right.
see the replay, like Traeshon, when he catches it, he tries to cut inside, and then the kind of defender not necessarily misses, but kind of mistimes it, and Traeshon would have gotten around him, but Traeshon just falls.
And this safety too, he's like you said, he's focusing more on Jameson. His back is literally to Traeshon. He's paying him no attention at all.
He doesn't know he's there. He has no idea that Traeshon Holden's behind him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and Traeshon was wide open. Like no one went with him.
So I'm not gonna I'm not gonna put this on Bryce. I'm not saying it's his fault that he missed Traeshon there, because the concept in his reads probably took him to the left and to where Jameson was. But it is nice to see Traeshon getting involved. You can see he gets pumped after he.
Yeah, and then like see that defender,
catch.
the defender went outside, and Traeshon cut in, and then Traeshon fell. But Traeshon keeps his feet up. That's a 61-yard touchdown. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You think he's pumped after the play, James? I think he's mad he failed.
Yeah.
I think he's mad. I think he's mad because he knew he had
you're right.
I think he knows he scores a touchdown there if he stays on his feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but his
production, that last one, you can tell he's upset. That's a good point.
Yeah.
His production has really increased the past 2-3 games. In the past 3 games, he's had 6 catches for 106 yards, which would be the third most on the team besides, Jamison Williams and John Mechie. But 3 games ago, they started playing Mechie more in the slot, and Mechie's production has vehemently increased from his first 5 games to his last 3 games. And the same goes with Jamison Williams too. His production's gone up a lot. So I think playing Holden is a big benefit for this team. And
it's an element we don't have.
Yeah, and it's
he's physical.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Big, 6'3", 215. He's huge. And yeah, he's huge. But production wise, in the past 3 games, I said 6 catches, 106 yards. Slade Bolden, who's played way more snaps, but I know he's not. I mean, he has 7 catches for 41 yards, and Traeshon has played half of that time and had way more, and not way more production, but noticeable more production. So I would love to see more snaps for Traeshon because, like I said, Mechie is benefiting from playing in the slot, and so is Jamison, and Traeshon fills that perimeter void. And whenever they focus on John Mechie and Jamison Williams, it leaves him wide open just like that.
Yeah, and with his frame, I mean, 6'3", 215, not only is that a kind of skill set that no one else on the team currently has right now, but I mean, who was the last Alabama receiver in the last several years who had that? I mean, certainly not Smitty or Ruggs or Judy or Waddle.
Julio Jones.
Yeah.
Julio Jones.
Yeah, that's go back a long way.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper wasn't that big. Calvin Ridley wasn't that big. Yeah, I think that's the only one that's as big as him, probably, or a little bit bigger as Julio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we talked a little bit of some play calling things that we didn't really like there at the start of the third quarter. Now Ryan is going to take us through, I think, start of the fourth quarter here. Really what ends up being a key turning point in the game over the next couple minutes of game time. So is this the right place, Ryan?
This is after I think this is.
Yeah, that's after.
This is after.
The pick.
Yeah,
that's after the pick.
Okay, I'm supposed to be. Whoops. I think this is where we're supposed to be, right?
Yeah, right here. You're good.
All right.
I actually love the play calling. It results in us being in a 3rd and 15, but I love the run on first down, and then I like the pass on second down. I think we should run the ball more on first down. I don't like the throws behind the line of scrimmage to start off drives.
Yeah,
we run the ball here we actually call a timeout. I forgot about that, but
I put this in here to show. I mean, the guys are trotting onto the field at 20 on the play clock.
I think that's what Saban's mad about.
Yeah, they're taking their sweet time. They end up having to take a timeout in a 1-score game early in the fourth.
I think that happened twice
they
in the
down
game.
Here and Saban's livid.
That happened twice.
Look at that.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I think that happens.
He's talking
twice.
about the shot clock. He's saying he's I don't know what he's saying to the ref there. He's saying the shot clock hit 0. So I don't know if I don't know what Saban is talking to the ref about there. I figured he'd be more mad with the offense for letting it get
I think
down,
he's
but
mad at both, and they bleed over into each other.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're probably right. Saban's probably just ranting about the team's screw up to the ref. Like, how could my team do that?
Yeah,
Yeah, but like, yeah, it's like one thing to get a delay game, but a delay game after like a kickoff, and I think
Yeah.
that happened twice. That happened twice in the game. That wasn't just the first time. There was no time in the game where they trod onto the field and got a delay game.
Yeah, not good. All
Yeah.
right, Ryan. Now here's the real start of the drive here. Take it away.
yeah. I mean, I love this play call. We don't gain any yardage here, but I still love to run it on first down with, especially as good as Brian Robinson's been this year. I think it's when we establish a run game on drives early in drives, I think we're more successful. There's nothing really to point out here. We just kind of get blown up at the line of scrimmage, and they get us for no gain here.
Yeah, that right side, I think, has been a little problematic. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're not bad players, but when I see pressure affecting Bryce, it seems like it's more often from the right side. When I see runs not really go anywhere, it seems like it's more the right side. But Owens and Ekiyor kind of both give up a little ground here, and there's nowhere for B-Rob to really go.
Like Thomas pointed out earlier, them leading the nation in tackles for loss kind of puts this into perspective.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think we did a great job run block there, but to get that back to the line of scrimmage is huge for us to not be behind the sticks early in a drive.
Yep, that's a good point. And we bring up 2nd and 10 here after the no gain.
Yeah, we throw the ball here. I don't hate the throw. I
Uh-huh.
think that's just like it was similar to the first down call on the first drive of the half. I like it better on a second down call though. After we try to run the ball early, and we just have to dump it off though to get anything. And Brian Robinson's not explosive out of the backfield as a pass catcher, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to blame him for losing yardage there when he's one-on-one with the corner.
Where
Yeah,
do you think this
I
is
mean-
supposed to go? Because B-Rob's like the check down because you got a guy completely untouched up the middle.
I think
right?
it's supposed to go across the middle to Jamison Williams.
To Jameson right here.
Yes,
Yeah,
and we had him
yeah.
for a second. I think we had him for
yeah.
a second, but it's got to be a quick throw, and that's a really fast read for a young quarterback.
Yeah. And I also think if you watch Jameson, he's not expecting the ball for a long time of that. Like he doesn't look back until right there, right at the very end as he's going off the screen. So Bryce, it may, that my first thought was, oh, he has the space, he has the time, just throw it to Jameson. But Jameson's not expecting the ball based on the route that he's running until a little bit later. So Bryce doesn't really have an option other than to dump it off to B-Rob. And there's just nothing he can really do. So
Lose 5 yards, get swarmed.
Yeah.
And then we do.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Thomas.
I was gonna say, like, if you go back to that second down play, like I would love it, like instead of they're like usually how it worked with Tua and Mac, there wasn't just like one check down. There was always like a receiver that would always like kind of run like a 5-yard curl, then just stop in a way. But if you look at the top of the screen, I think that's who is that Billingsley? I think that's him at the top of the screen. I could be dead
Billingsley
wrong.
was the far receiver.
Yeah, so like, but if Billingsley, it's obviously not Billingsley's fault, but just having a guy like say Billingsley runs and stops at the 30, it could be like stops at the 30. That's like a first down. That guy's not tackling Billingsley.
And even if he does, you're looking at a 3rd and 2 instead of a 3rd and 15, which is where you're at when we throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
it works out. Which we figure out in a minute, but
I mean,
I'd still rather be in a 3rd and 2 than a 3rd and 15.
Yeah. So then we get to the 3rd and 15 here. Many of you watching will probably remember the result of this play. It's pretty
biggest play of the game.
one.
This is the biggest play of the game.
Play of the night.
Absolutely.
They're Slade on that, whatever that motion is again, kind of looping around the running back and the quarterback.
Which I love.
Yeah. I mean,
That is just
It actually
a great
helps us.
throw.
This is where I noticed the motion helps us. It makes a corner stay down with Slade Bolden, and we get Jamison Williams on the linebacker deep down the field. Because watch, one of these corners have to kind of remain close to the line of scrimmage to avoid giving up a 15-yard dump off pass, and we get a linebacker on Jamison Williams across the middle of the field with no help by the safety over the top.
are you saying this guy right here is affected by Slade being over there and all that open space?
Absolutely. I think that he kind of hesitates when Bolden rolls out, and that forces the linebacker to go with Jamison Williams.
Yeah, I agree. We have a really good view here from behind Bryce. Again, I'm really glad that ESPN got these views because they allow us to really, kind of see it from his perspective, and that view, which we'll show here in a second, is really good. But I mean,
This is a beautiful throw.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
just an absolutely beautiful throw.
I mean, that's just
Could have been much better. He keeps it away from the safety, beats the linebacker. It's a great throw.
And like
absolutely.
Ryan mentioned it like a few times yesterday, hit him straight in the face mask.
Yeah,
I mean, it's elite arm talent for a 19, 20-year-old.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's unfair is what it is.
Yeah. He's so calm. Just so calm after he throws a 65-yard dart as the biggest play of the game.
so there's one view of it. Jameson just like runs past that linebacker at turbo speed. The ball's right on his face mask.
Yeah. This play gives me shades of the Devontae Smith catch in the national championship game last year, where they tried to cover Devontae with that linebacker, and it just went to start.
Now let me fast forward. Oh, hold up. Well, let's go back and look at Bryce's perspective of this throw after this next run, because I know Ryan, you're a big fan of this run too.
I'm big on this run. This is just a phenomenal run, an awful run blocking. This is all Brian Robinson. It's all Brian Robinson, the whole play. We get no push from the offensive line. He's hit 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
he looks like Derrick Henry and just bounces right out of there. It's similar like Marshawn Lynch.
Beast
when he had that huge run where he just escapes a whole group of linemen. That's exactly what happens here. And then Jameson Williams not even paying attention ends up having a pretty big block action.
Yeah, I just love the elusiveness, like him not giving up on the play, waiting, being patient for the hole, and then he finally, there's no hole there, then he sees something out of nothing and just goes.
There is absolutely no reason this play should gain yards from how it starts. There's no reason. There's like 3 people in the backfield, and he gets through all of them.
15 for a touchdown.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not just a 2-yard gain. It's a 15-yard touchdown. Just an incredible.
Yeah, like from like my view in the stadium, like we were all pumped up after the Jameson play. Then I saw that handoff and I went, oh, yep. I just kind of like, oh, yep, -1, -2. And then all of a sudden I see just Ryan just pop on out of there and he's gone.
It's one of those plays where it's like, just tell Will Riker to get his leg ready. He's kicking a field goal. And no, he's kicking an extra point because Brian Robinson makes something out of nothing here.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's been one of the big reasons why our offense has been so effective is Brian Robinson has just been fantastic. I mean, I knew he was a good running back. I kind of think he reminded me of Damian Harris a little bit, where he's just, to me, he's just a good running back. But man, this year he's taken it to the next level. He's been fantastic. He's getting 6.
He's exceeded all expectations. He's exceeded every expectation I had.
Definitely. Like I did not expect this from him at all.
Yeah, he's been very impressive. Tuscaloosa boy.
Yeah, that's
Hillcrest. Hillcrest.
If you want to pull up Bryce's other angle of that throw, you can, James.
Yeah.
Just give us another view of that.
We got Will Riker. Very important extra point here. Let's get some analysis of that. Just flawless.
Just beautiful. Oh yes.
Knock on wood, we don't miss those.
Yeah, we don't need to miss any of those.
And then this is what we're looking for right here. So I'll just go ahead and roll this. You can see the whole field, and that's just right on the money. The big go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying that's so pretty. That's such a good throw.
Yeah.
They left
the biggest thing to me that kind of allows that to happen is if we watch this safety, he kind of gets caught. He takes the bait on Billingsley here. You know, he's watching Billingsley. He breaks inside to go with Billingsley and forgets, oh, I have Jameson Williams on the other side running right past me, basically. So I think that's a big part of it. If that safety drops back, he's in a really good position to take that throw away. Bryce probably, if that safety's like here, Bryce probably doesn't try that throw, you know, because it's just too tight of a window to try to fit it into.
That's also really good pass protection.
Oh, it is. Yes.
They only rush forward, but we do a great job of giving them time to throw.
Yeah,
it's a good pickup by Evan Neal. If you watch it, it's a really good pickup right there. So like the guy bounces to the outside, Evan Neal picks him up. If you don't pick that up, Bryce is probably getting hit.
Yeah, that's Neal and Cohen being on the same page, and you can tell they've practiced picking up stunts like that. Like Evan kind of gives him a little push inside, and Evan knows the guy's coming outside, and he easily picks that up. That's a good point.
Top 10 pick right there.
He is, man. 6'7", 350
yards.
pound,
Yeah.
left tackles who can move like he can. They're gonna go pretty high in the draft. Yeah, that's just beautiful. I could watch that throw all day. Moving on though, what do we got next here? Let me pull up the other tab. Oh, this is where we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk run a little bit.
Okay.
So, another thing I was really impressed with is how the defense stopped the run. I mean, they mentioned it on the broadcast. We've mentioned it in our group chat, kind of preparing for this. But there really were not many places where Tennessee's running backs could go, and I really want to spotlight Justin Eboigbe here. Not a name that you hear a whole lot. He's kind of one of the rotational guys on that D-line. But if you watch 92 right here on the guard who comes across the formation, I mean, he blows that up. He completely stops him in his tracks.
He does.
Sheds the block and then makes a really, really nice tackle there on the running back. And that, I mean, that's a key. It didn't end up being a key play because of what happened next. But on 2nd and 10 in the red zone, that's a key stop to be able to force 3rd and long. It's probably going to be 4-down territory if it comes to that. But really like being able to kind of keep that run nice and short and force a 3rd and long situation in the red zone. And then defense did a really nice job stopping the run in a lot of these cases, but like we all saw, there were some definite issues in protecting the back end and communication on the secondary. So this is this one really emotionally affected you. Do you want to take over on
This
this
is one of the worst defensive alignments I've ever seen in all of my years of watching football.
Let's just roll this. I mean, where do you begin on this?
Let's start with we have a safety walk down in the box for no reason. Zero reasoning to walk Daniel Wright down into the box.
Yeah, so this is Daniel Wright right here, closer to the line of scrimmage than your inside linebackers, right? And Greg McElroy made a good point on the broadcast. Jordan Battle's playing outside leverage on this guy. And if you're playing outside leverage, the whole point of that is to feed the receiver in to someone who's protecting the middle of the field. Well, there's nobody protecting the middle of the field. So, you know, we've talked about this. We've looked at it, the 4 of us, and tried to figure out, you know, where the problem was. I still don't know that I think it's got to be a combination of things. There's not one thing that you can point to. I don't think.
The problem was we didn't call timeout. That's the problem.
100%. I mean,
if you were to point to one thing specifically, it's the communication between Malachi and Battle. I think is like what you watch Malachi. He believes that's Battle's guy. And he turns around and he's very confused.
This is the play where Daniel Wright shrugs his shoulders, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think this
exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah, no one knows what's going on.
So Daniel Wright, we watch right here. The first weird thing is that there's no safeties back here. Your safeties are Battle right here and Daniel Wright right here. But if we watch Daniel Wright, he's shrugging. Like right before the snap, he's saying, "What am I supposed to do? Like what's the call, guys?" Like I don't know if there was a check here and it didn't get relayed to everybody, but Daniel Wright is confused and does not know what is going on. And I'm not saying this to crap on Daniel Wright, because I went back and listened to Saban's press conference, and he said half the guys are playing one thing, half the guys are playing another. So I don't think this is Daniel Wright's fault. He's just the one who shrugged, and we can visibly see that he is confused in some way.
I don't think this is on Daniel Wright. I think this is on Pete Golding, and even Coach Saban to a certain extent for not getting a timeout there. But as far as the alignment, I think that's Golding relaying it in and us failing to get that to everyone and set up correctly.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Saban and Golding, it's 3rd and 7, you're up 7-0 in a rivalry game, and you see your defense lined up like this, you can't not call timeout, in my opinion. Like, I don't know, maybe obviously I'm saying this with the benefit of hindsight, knowing that this guy's running a slant easily into the end zone, but I don't know, man. I just think you can't let the ball get snapped when you see this.
Like, you can't have like a 3rd and 7, or in this case, it's like a 3rd and goal from the 9 with nobody in that end zone for doing anything. Like, how they're lined up is like a 3rd and 2. Like, whenever you bring a safety up as an outside linebacker, that's like a 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1. not a
Yeah.
third
Where
and
it's run
second.
all the way. It's run all the way. You don't think they're going to
Yeah.
throw the ball ever. And if you do, you take your chances. They throw the ball here. Every team in the country throws the ball here outside of like teams that run the triple option.
Right.
Yeah.
And like,
You've got 8 people in the box there with how close Malachi Moore is playing inside and up to the line of scrimmage. Like there are 8 people relatively close to the quarterback there, and they've got what, 3 receivers in the formation?
Yeah.
yeah, and the thing is, Hendon Hooker knew where he was going. Hendon Hooker's a good quarterback. Like he's a great quarterback. So he saw that from the beginning, and he was going to it immediately.
Yeah, I think Thomas, you made the point right here. They changed the play, so they probably see something they like in the defense here. Hendon Hooker goes up, says something to the O-line, the running back and the tight end move to the other side.
And then watch, he's going to
Hooker
look
looks
right
to his left, like you pointed
Yep.
out. I don't know if he's looking at the receiver there. It's very possible, but I mean, when you see Malachi here this close, cheating up to the line of scrimmage, and you see Battle playing outside, and Hendon Hooker knows what this is going to be. He obviously, I mean, he basically knows it's going to be a touchdown, unless
Yeah, and like look at the bottom of the screen. The receiver doesn't even run a route. So
Yeah.
like it's like he knows where he's going.
yeah.
The whole offense apparently knew where this ball was going, but Pete Golding did not apparently. So
Yeah.
that's unfortunate.
And one thing that I think kind of gives us a clue to what went wrong is if we scroll forward here and we see the conversations that were happening on the sideline after this. Come on. Right here. It looks like it's mostly between Saban and Malachi. Like Saban is talking to Malachi about what went wrong. So like Malachi there, it looks like he's saying something about the handoff. I don't know if that, I don't know what that would have to do with this play if we roll it back, but it looks like, I'm not saying Malachi screwed up, but you know, something went wrong there. Like Malachi, I think, you know, one of the theories that you guys brought up is Malachi is comfortable getting this close to the line of scrimmage because he feels like Battle is in man-to-man on this guy instead of playing outside leverage and feeding him into the middle part of the field in zone, you know? So I think that's very possible because Ryan pointed out the other night, right here, they're both, you know,
They're
kind of-
stacked. They're on top of each other.
yeah, exactly. And then, you know, Battle goes outside of the receiver. Malachi takes a couple steps inside, and I don't know. That's just
It's like they both thought the other guy had him. Is exactly what they think.
Yeah, because watch Malachi when he turns around, like he's very confused. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't know why he got by, and Jordan Battle's confused too. So
yeah. Battle's like, oh, what just happened?
I'll tell you, he wasn't confused. Hendon Hooker or Velas Jones III, because this
Not
is
at
a
all.
really good throw to his face mask touchdown. Or
Yeah,
Velas Jones
they
Jr.,
knew
I
where
guess,
that was
not the
going
third.
100%. So not good. It ended up not mattering much, but still, it doesn't give you a whole lot of confidence in the defensive communication going forward. And even getting into this situation, the defense gave up a big play to allow Tennessee to get down into the red zone. So I'll just back it up like a minute or two here. And there's a play where Daniel Wright gets beaten here. I think they throw it from about midfield. It may be exactly the 50, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so they're right at midfield. And I mean, Daniel Wright just gets beaten. There's no other way around it, you know?
yeah, and if that throws on the money, it's a touchdown. He underthrows.
Yeah, it's
him, but
underthrown
that
a little.
Yeah, if that throws on the money, it's a touchdown.
Hendon Hooker gives Daniel Wright a chance at the ball.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely does. I wonder, it almost looks like he's trying to throw that back shoulder, which doesn't make much sense to me. I feel like if he puts it out in front of him, that's a touchdown, like y'all are saying.
Yeah.
I've watched this again. I think he thinks Battle is closing in faster than he is, and he's worried about Battle coming over the top like he did last week against Mississippi State, which would have been something he had seen in film, and he would be fearful to throw that ball too deep for the fear that Jordan Battle comes in and makes a play.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because Battle did have a really good play against Mississippi State, pick six. So yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, and that to me, Daniel Wright getting beaten here is not good, obviously. Like right there, you got to stay on top of the guy. You cannot let him get past you. But to me, I think I need a little more from Battle here too. I mean, he's a great player, don't get me wrong, but on this play, I need a little more from him. He starts out, you know, basically smack dab in the middle of the field. The angle that he takes is so shallow. Like he's almost just running along the hashes here. Like
Yeah,
obviously
it
I
kind of
don't
looks
know
like
how they're coaching that in practice or whatever, but it doesn't make sense to me. Why would he not be taking a much sharper angle over here toward the sideline to contest that pass, or make it a smaller window for Hendon Hooker to fit it into, or at least just to lay a hit on the guy? He doesn't do anything. He's the deep safety, and he's almost not even part of the play. So I'm confused by that. I don't know if y'all have any theories on that, or if I'm being too tough on him, but that was something I couldn't quite figure out.
I think he thinks over the top and he's trying to just make the tackle, but I think you're right. I think if he just goes after the ball, I think he could get to it, even if it is thrown over the top.
I think he either thinks that it's going to be him having to stop a touchdown, or he thinks Daniel Wright didn't get torched as bad as he did, and he thinks Daniel Wright's going to make a play on the ball.
Yeah, because it is underthrown, so he must think that.
But still, I'd rather the safety be over there with him than expecting Daniel Wright to make a play. No offense to Daniel Wright.
Yep, totally. Yeah, I think I had been underrating Hendon Hooker, definitely. I mean, I'm a very casual Virginia Tech fan, being from Virginia. So I had heard of him. I'd watched him play a little bit, but I mean,
he's a great player. Like Josh Heupel has opened up a lot of things for him. He's a great player.
Yeah,
he's been really good for them this year.
He's a good fit for Heupel's offense, I think.
Better than Milton.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I don't understand the thought process in starting Milton over him. I didn't at the time, and I definitely don't now.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
Like Milton has a very strong arm. I don't think I've ever seen a stronger arm, but you have to be under control.
He'll show it off too. He'll show you he's got a strong arm.
Yeah. He'll throw it 70 yards downfield when the receiver's only 40 yards downfield. He'll show it to you.
Yeah.
All right, so that's one kind of coverage bust there. Now let's go to the other one that is probably sticking in everybody's mind. First thing that sticks out to me is just how wide these guys are. I mean, having two wide receivers that far away, both of them outside the numbers, is going to be a tough ask, because they're making you defend the whole 53 1/3
and stacked,
with
where there's so much unpredictability with those receivers stacked.
Yeah. I mean,
I think the dooming thing here was Battle kind of bit on the run, and they kind of got him late to go into the receiver, and then he whiffed on the tackle, and then he just outruns Daniel Wright, and he's gone.
Yeah, I think a lot of Alabama fans will see Daniel Wright running behind the guy and say, Daniel Wright screwed up again. Like, why is he even still on the field? But, I agree with you, Thomas. I think, again, this is not, it just happens that the two plays we're showing, I think Battle could have played a little better. I'm not criticizing him as a player. I think he's a great player. It's just these two plays in the game, I think he could have played a little better. Because you see him here, he's the deep safety. I mean, there's no one else there. He's the guy. But once the ball snapped, he moves 3 yards closer to the line of scrimmage, kind of bit on the play action, leaves a wide open window for Hendon Hooker to throw that ball. And then you never want your deep safety to be running farther downfield, right? You want them to get depth and then move up to make the tackle. So seeing him kind of bite on the play action there and then have to turn around and go chase the guy down is not what you want to see. And then to make matters worse, he whiffs on the tackle, So again, Jordan Battle, very solid player, but not his best moment there.
I thought it was this play where we have Will Anderson in coverage for some reason.
Yeah, go back. I think it was.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Just chilling out there. We rushed 3.
Yeah, that's Will right there.
The best pass rush in the country, behind the first down marker.
The best player in the country. I'll go that far.
That was something I saw multiple times during this game. That
they did, yeah, 5-6 times in the plays that I watched. They did it a lot.
I don't know why we don't rush him every time. I get that we're trying to confuse him, I guess.
Yeah.
But Hooker's played football before. He's played 6 or 7 games probably for Tennessee. He played most of the year last year with Virginia Tech. I don't think it's worth the thought of confusing him to take him out of rushing, which is what he does better than, like y'all said, anybody in the country.
Yeah.
You know what's more confusing? Him being in your face instead of him being 8 yards deep.
What do you mean by that, Ryan?
Quarterback wise.
Yeah, the pressure is more confusing than him being behind the.
Yeah. Totally.
When he drops into coverage, that's not confusing. He can't cover anybody. He's a defensive end. Who are we asking him to cover is the real question.
Yeah.
I
As a
mean, it's
quarterback-
just his own. Yeah.
As a quarterback, I'm just thankful that he's not coming at me and he's back there covering nobody. Because
Yeah, that's true. One thing I did notice is, like Cole said, there were at least 5 or 6 plays where I saw Will Anderson drop. Multiple of them were when Tennessee goes super hurry up. I mean, they snapped this ball with 31 seconds on the play clock. There was at least one other time where I saw Will Anderson drop back, and it was a similar situation like this, where Tennessee's rushing up to the line and they snap it with 30-ish seconds on the play clock. So I don't know if that has something to do with it. I don't know why I don't know. Offense is going faster. I would think you would want your best player trying to go up and pressure the quarterback, affect the quarterback in some way, and slow down his read, rather than dropping him. But I do wonder if that was part of the game plan when they hurry up. Part of the defense is going to have to make the call quickly. I wonder if that's part of that real quick vanilla defensive call, is that Will is going to drop back against certain looks or something like that when Tennessee goes hurry up. I'm not sure, but that was something I noticed. But,
Yeah, and then to me, I don't understand. I don't know if Will Anderson does the wrong thing here, or if this is just a bad look for what we were trying to do on defense. But if y'all notice, we got 4 defenders in the same spot halfway through this.
Look right there, 4 just sitting there.
Yeah, it
both
doesn't make
linebackers, Will
sense
Anderson in the
Will
corner.
Anderson into that zone.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
All guarding a tight end.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was supposed to be. I mean, if we look at the coverage here, so who's that right there motioning?
That was Malachi, I think.
Yeah, that's Malachi going with this guy. Job here, Jalen Armour-Davis up top.
Good by Tennessee, though. As soon as that guy gets set, they're snapping that ball.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. We can't really see the bottom of the screen too well, how those routes go and how Alabama covers them, but
Battle
I mean,
wins on a tackle, but Daniel Wright gets beat here too.
yeah.
I mean, if you look at the bottom of the screen, go back a little bit. It doesn't look like the guy at the bottom really runs a route. Like he runs up to Malachi and just kind of sits there.
Yeah.
That's what I just saw. I think they both don't run a route. Actually, if you go back again, watch the bottom guy. Yeah, he just doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
That's just a play design. They were going to that guy all along.
Yeah.
Bottom guy never left the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they were going to that guy all along.
Yeah, he just kind of walks up a couple of steps.
Which I guess makes sense, because whenever he completes the slant route, there's nobody on the right side coming up to catch him until like the very end. Because look, they're not coming in until about right there, and they're both pretty fast guys. So
yeah, I know, Ryan. You are asking Daniel Wright for a little more effort here too, aren't you?
I mean, yeah, and so was Saban, because he didn't play again after this play.
Yeah, that was pretty much the end of Daniel Wright for this
was the
game, and
entire
we saw a
student
lot more of
section.
Helms.
Yeah, I mean, he just lets up on the play, and you probably, I mean, if it's a 1st and goal from the 7, they probably still score, but you at least make them run the plays from 1st and goal from the 7 instead of letting up and just letting him walk it into the end zone like Daniel Wright did there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like right, like once Battle misses it, it's like right there. He's like, all right, that's a touchdown. Oh, well.
It's not even like he has a bad angle. I mean, he can make that play.
Yeah.
He's a very good athlete.
Yeah.
he's fast too. Like he's not slow.
Yeah.
He just kind of, I guess, like, I mean, he just, from his angle, he may have thought he was gone or whatever, but I don't know. And I just now realized Tennessee mocked one of our celebrations. I just realized that.
Really?
Yeah, that at the end of it, he does like a crane. That's what he does. That's what
45 to 10 the rest of the way.
Yeah, but if whenever you watch Mechie score a touchdown, that's what Mechie does right there. Mechie does that.
Yeah. Good observation. Little
45 to 10 after that. 45 to 10 after that.
Saban yelling at Pete there out of the side of his mouth with his back to him? I think he's yelling at Pete.
I hope he is.
I think he tears into Daniel Wright when he gets over close to the
Oh,
sideline.
yeah, he does.
Sure.
He does. Let's watch that here in a couple of seconds.
Bill O'Brien's lucky that is on the sideline. I think sometimes I think Bill O'Brien's a little lucky.
Right there.
Yeah,
he's
he's
talking to
mad.
Battle. He's talking to
mad.
Job, which is odd. But Job was on the complete other side of the field.
Job's
I
just
think
listening. He ain't even talking to Josh Job. He's just listening.
Well, D-Wright comes up here. That's D-Wright right there. Now Saban is furious with both of them, and he's like, and I mean, I think the blame is on both of them, because
Absolutely.
D-Wright
Yeah,
is talking
absolutely.
about what he's seeing, and Saban saying, no, you're wrong, and really both of them, I think, have got to communicate that a little better, and defense is not a one-man game. It's not just straight man-to-man coverage all the time. You gotta all be on the same page and help each other out. So
And our
those two
defense is very
guys.
complicated. From everything I've ever heard from NFL guys talking about Alabama's defense, it's a very tough thing to learn. And especially if you're playing defensive back or linebacker, it's a huge ask of these guys.
I've heard people say it's the most complicated defense, NFL,
Yeah.
college, anywhere, the most
We're,
complicated defense anywhere.
we're asking a ton of these guys.
Yeah. That's a fair point too. And that's something I think I need to remind myself, and fans out there can remind themselves of, is, these are 18, 19, 20-year-old kids who are learning the most complicated defense in football. And they've done it at a really high level for a long time, but there's going to be coverage bust too. So that's a good point.
Yeah, I think Dylan Moses said he learned the playbook in 9 months. So when people asked him about that, he says, "Oh, I learned it just relatively fast. It takes guys over 2 years to learn the playbook."
Yeah.
So it takes a long time.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many checks to it. I mean, the whole idea of Saban's defense is like this pattern match idea, as I understand it. Like, after you have to process everything so quickly, because you've got to recognize the route combinations as they're happening and then be able to break on it, So it is a really tough ask, and it's really impressive that they've been able to run it at such a high level for such a long time with how many checks there are, and as important as communication is for this defense, but they've done a really good job of it for a long time. All right, I think we're tired of watching this play. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely.
Do we want to end on a high note? Let's end looking at a couple really impressive plays by Will Anderson, who I think is probably the brightest spot on this defense. And
he's the best player on the team and the best player in the country.
Yeah,
you're big on the best player in the country, Thomas.
I'm a little big on it. I'm a little big on it.
This one, I just really love the pursuit, going from the complete opposite side. I mean, Hendon Hooker's running for his life. Will over pursues it a little bit there, pushes him back inside, and he's fired up, man. That's one of my favorite things about him.
Was also double teamed off the snap. If you watch from the beginning, he's 2 offensive linemen on him, and he gets away from both of them and loops around, which is just him being an absolute athlete.
Yeah, yeah, he's crazy. I mean, I wish we could get. I wish they had gotten the regular game review once this ball was snapped. But you're right. I mean, this was really one of the few times that they gave him that kind of attention. I mean, my old friend from Title 100.9, Joe Gaither, sent us in a question and said, how our offense is kind of game planning for Will Anderson. How are they protecting the quarterback and kind of trying to
poorly? They're doing it poorly.
They really aren't. They aren't doing nearly enough. I mean, this was one of the few times. Most of their plays, they're just treating him like any other defensive end. It's like a one-on-one block. They're not really chipping him. They're not really helping their offensive tackles who are matched up on this guy. This was one of the few times where they did. But I mean, I don't know. At some point, you got to think offensive coordinators and the offensive game plans are going to include more attention toward this guy, because he's an absolute game wrecker.
The problem with that, though, is I think we're really good at linebacker as far as coming down and making plays on the quarterback. So if you divert too much attention towards Will Anderson, you're taking the risk of 202, I guess how you say his name, or Christian Harris, either one coming down there and making a play.
Yeah, that's true too.
Also, our defensive linemen are good at pass rush too. Like, they're getting bad. They're always pushing guys in the backfield too.
Yeah.
So
absolutely, yeah.
Like, look, like they're getting. I mean, there's only a 3-man rush, but like they're flying to the ball to go get them. So.
Yeah, I wasn't too high on the defensive line coming into this year, but I think they've been playing really well, especially against the run. I actually like them more against the run than the pass. I think Phil Mathis has developed into a really solid player, kind of a late bloomer, been around for a long time, but he's developed into a really solid player. Tim Smith, I think, still has a ton of potential. I think we're probably hoping for a little more out of him by this point, given the flashes that he showed last year. But I mean, the
I think they get
D-line's playing
playbook problem
solid,
too.
man. Say it again.
I think it may be a playbook problem for Tim Smith.
A playbook problem?
Yeah, like I'm not sure he knows the defense well enough yet to really be contributing.
Oh, I see.
He's just so
Very
raw.
possible.
He makes when he's out there and he's kind of just doing he's doing pretty much freelance work himself. He's marching the beat of his own drum and he's making plays, but it's not within the structured defense. And I think that's part of Saban's problem. He's going to be a really good player, I think, though.
It's also because of the amount of guys we have on the defensive line, like Ryan Ray, Justin Ebogbe, Mathis, DJ Dale, Tim Smith, like just name them all. So
yeah, they have very good depth. Really good depth on the D-line.
And also, like, another thing, like when Drew Sanders comes back, that also takes away another player too. So because he's kind of like a walked up defensive end sometimes as well. So
don't get Ryan started on Drew Sanders. He absolutely.
I'm a huge Drew Sanders fan.
Honestly, like when Drew Sanders was playing, he was playing like our second, third best player on defense when he was healthy and playing. He was great. Like he was awesome.
And he was second string. He was behind Chris Allen.
Yeah, that's another thing. People forget Chris Allen led the SEC in tackles for loss last year. I think that he led the whole SEC, and he got hurt in the first game. So that was a big loss, and Drew Sanders filled the role pretty good.
Yeah, I had one more play from Will Anderson here, and then we can wrap it up. Or if you guys have anything else we want to touch on while we're here, we can do that. But I think we talk about like the intensity and obviously just the raw physical talent of Will Anderson. But to me, this also shows his smarts. I mean, this is a very easy to overlook play, but to me, I don't see any reason he's cut. I mean, unless it's just a stunt, and it could be that, but to me, I think he also recognizes what's happening. He recognizes this QB draw really quickly. I mean, he kind of hits the outside of the tackle there and then cuts it inside and notices it really quickly. Quick processing to me, even if it is a stunt and he's kind of already heading that way, he's just on the ball. He's rarely out of position. It seems like he has grasped the defense quicker than most based on what everybody says about him. And I don't know, I thought this was just an impressive play to me that could easily be overlooked, but I like that one from Will too.
He beats Hooker too, which is impressive.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize that play. That's super fast recognition of that play.
Yeah.
Yeah, like as soon as he sees what's going on, he's already in the hole. Like he hits the lineman, looks up, and then he's already there. Like hits him, then he's already there.
Christian Harris is coming downfield, eyes on it, and Will Anderson recognized it faster than he did.
Yeah. In this situation, how often do you expect your edge guy to be the first guy there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, very impressive. Does Will Anderson have a chance to win the Heisman? This is not your opinion about whether he should win it or go to New York. Does he have a chance to win the Heisman?
No.
I think he has. I think he has a chance. Now, will he win it? Probably not at all. Because in 2009, I remember when Mark Ingram won the Heisman. Like, I'm happy Mark Ingram won, but Ndamukong Suh, as I've gotten older, like he should have won the Heisman that year. I don't know why he didn't win the Heisman that year. So
that's how I know Will Anderson doesn't have a chance, because Ndamukong Suh wasn't even second place receiver. It was Toby Gerhart.
I think Ndamukong was like fourth, wasn't he? I think he was fourth. Yeah, he was fourth. Now, it was a very close voting. Like, it wasn't like he was a distant fourth. Like, 1 through 4 was very – 1 through 4 was very, very close. That's another thing we need to think about. But, like, I think he has some semi of a chance. Like, he has 16.5 tackles for losses, 8.5 sacks. So, I mean, if he erupts in the last 5 games, that's kind of what Devontae did last year. He erupted in the last 4 or 5 games, and that won him the Heisman. So, I mean, anything's possible. And, like, Alabama would have to win out. Like, I think if he has a really good next 4 games, and then say Alabama plays Georgia in the SEC title game, say Will has a really great game in that game, kind of disrupts everything, has a Quinnen Williams LSU type game, I think that could do it for him.
I think if Will Anderson scores 3 touchdowns in between now and the Heisman ceremony, he's got a chance, as long as one of them is against Georgia. But they're not about to give the Heisman trophy to a guy who doesn't score touchdowns.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
got
yeah,
to
I
do
mean,
something crazy or miraculous to have a shot, I think. But I mean, I think if the Heisman is truly about identifying the most outstanding player in college football, he's got to at least be a finalist, you know?
Yeah.
100% agree, but I don't think it's what it's about anymore.
Yeah, I agree. Sadly.
last year they did that with Devontae because like at this point of the year last year, I was like, oh, they're easily going to give it to either Mac or Kyle Trask. And then after the final 4 games, everyone switched their mind to Devontae.
Yeah.
And then some had Trevor Lawrence, which, you know, like, I'm not going to say anything about that, but, you know.
As we wrap up, this drive had a couple of nice defensive stops I wanted to point out since we didn't get to give the D-line as much love as I had been planning on. But we saw the one from Will here, really good recognition on the QB draw. We go to the next one. We got Tim Smith right here, number 50. I think he does a really nice job here. Ryan, you would call this just absolute bullying. If we watch here, he just bullies that right tackle. I mean,
100%.
Simple bull rush. That's what that is.
Yeah, he just forklifts him and just throws him to the ground. The tackling you would like to see be a little better. Hendon Hooker does a nice job keeping the legs churning. But hey, I mean, look at Tim Smith too. I mean, getting the pressure in the backfield and then running 12 yards downfield to make that tackle. Gotta love that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would actually prefer that he didn't have to run 12 yards downfield to make the tackle.
Right. Ideally not, but given the situation, I like the effort.
Yeah.
That's an underrated play from Hooker because he has Will Anderson wrapped on him. He has LeBron Ray, Josh Jobe, Malachi Moore, and he's just pushing.
Yeah.
And Christian Harris is there too. So, yeah.
Hooker's not going to get enough credit because I don't think Tennessee's good enough to win enough games for him to get credit. But I think they were going to beat Ole Miss last week if he didn't get hurt.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, they have a hard end to the schedule. They still got to play Georgia, and they still got to play. I forgot who they play in the Nets this coming up week, but it's going to be kind of a tough ask. But I mean, I think they'll finish sits and go to a bowl game. So hopefully
they definitely still have. They still have Vanderbilt, Kentucky, and Georgia. I know for sure.
Okay. They have Kentucky. That's one thing. Of Kentucky. They have Kentucky and Georgia, and they have Vanderbilt. And I think they have another opponent, but they should beat that opponent. So I see them going sits and sits. So he'll get a bowl game to showcase his abilities.
Yeah.
If they do go 6-6, I'd imagine there aren't many better 6-6 teams in the country.
Definitely. Because they were so close to beating Ole Miss. They should have beaten Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh just beat Clemson. Tennessee would beat Clemson today. I think they would.
It's crazy.
I agree.
But I think you're right.
Yeah, it's crazy, but Tennessee would beat Clemson today.
Yeah, imagine saying that at literally any point in the last 5 years. Like since Josh Dobbs left, that's just a ludicrous statement until now.
I mean, 2 months ago, that would have been horrible to say.
Yeah.
2 months ago, that'd been horrible. And also
we
saying
DJ conversation right now. We wouldn't be having this conversation right now because we'd be locked up in an insane asylum if we said in July that Tennessee was going to be a better football team than Clemson.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that Ole Miss was going to be a significantly better football team than Clemson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or that Kentucky would be a better team than Clemson.
Yeah.
Basically, that Clemson would suck. That Coastal Carolina would be a better team than Clemson. I mean, there's a long list of teams that are better than Clemson right now.
That Pitt was going to win the ACC.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good way to put it.
Or that Wake Forest would be undefeated at this point. Stuff like that.
Yeah. All right, boys, as we wrap up here, I just have a couple more stops I wanted to highlight. I think this was a really nice one by Boygby, who's number 92 right here, and then Christian Harris coming up from the linebacker spot. They do a nice job kind of clogging this running lane. I mean, right here, as the running back gets the handoff, this is looking pretty nice to him. If this, I think this is the center here. If he can seal Christian Harris there, he's going to have a pretty nice rushing lane, but Harris kind of gets in there and clogs the running lane, and Boygby gets a nice push here too to kind of clog that running lane. So again, Boygby not one of the names that gets a whole lot of shine on the D-line, but I thought he had a couple of real nice plays in this one. And then the last one I wanted to point out, I think, is this very next play. A couple guys get good penetration. Henry's in there. Tim Smith makes another nice play. Boygby again. I mean, there's just nowhere for him to really go, Boygby kind of sheds that block and makes the tackle. 3rd and 5. that's a pretty crucial spot in a 1-score game, getting late in the third quarter. So wanted to give some of those guys in the front six the love that they deserve. We didn't touch as much on the linebackers as I would have liked. I know we got some requests on Twitter. If we end up doing another one of these videos, I'm sure we'll touch more on Christian and Henry and the job that they're doing. But, it's tough to cover all these topics. So we definitely appreciate everybody's requests and everything, and everybody who's stuck with this video to the end. Hopefully you have learned something, and hopefully we've made some things a little more clear. And it's just a lot of fun to go back and kind of rewatch the games and, take a deeper look at what was going on. So again, we appreciate everybody watching. It's been a great time talking this over with you guys, and we'll talk again soon. Anybody got any other last comments, remarks, hot takes they want to get out there? I'll take us off screen share here since we're wrapping up. Any other last comments, or are we good to wrap it?
I'm good.
All right. Sounds good. Well, I will talk to you guys later, and hopefully we can do this again soon. It was a lot of fun.